So first, thank you, Bruce, for the great introduction and inviting me. So the way we'll do this, I guess, is I'll kind of tell the story of how everything happened, and then we'll open it up to Q&A, so you guys can actually ask what you want to know. Otherwise, I can go on all night here. So as Bruce said, my name is David. I started going to PACE in 2008, right after I finished high school. I grew up in Queens, New York. When I came into PACE in 2008, I was just a student like all of you guys, a freshman here trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. I used to sit in this courtyard for hours hanging out with my friends trying to figure out what the hell we can start. So one of my buddies, Jay, his real name's Jonathan, but I'll call him Jay. So Jay and I actually attended Pace University together. The reason why Jay doesn't get invited to these things is because he actually didn't graduate yet. He still has 3 credits left. So Jay and I, we were supposed to go to law school together. We took our LSATs. I actually took them twice. I think he took them 3 times. So we took our LSATs in our junior and senior years. We were going to be ready to go to law school. We really didn't know what the hell else to do. It seemed like the safe option and the safest option out there. And also, when I entered as a freshman, that's right when the financial crisis happened. And I remember one of my PACE professors actually telling us in a class, like, we are absolutely and we, as the graduating class of 2012, he's like, you got. So there wasn't a lot of promise going on back in those times. So right before my senior year, in about 2011, I had a conversation with Jay during one of my internships in the summertime, and I said, I think we can go out there and we can start something pretty cool in the media space. And it wasn't because we sat there thinking we were going to be media moguls. We never aspired to be media moguls. To be honest, we just didn't want to go to law school, and we didn't want to wear suits every day. We just wanted to be able to wear T-shirts every day and hang out all day. So we said, all right, there really isn't much to read out there. This is before BuzzFeed was around or before these other younger content publishers were around. So we said, you know what, there's CNN, you got GQ, you got all these older things, but we really don't think that these younger people are going to be reading these things. So why don't we go out there and why don't we start a media website? And we got laughed at by everybody we told that to. Both people here in PACE, both our professors, our mentors, people we knew, people that we were working for and had internships with. Everybody told us not to do it. Everybody counted us out. Everybody asked us if we had a business plan. I didn't even know how to put together a business plan. So everybody counted us out. It was to the point where we could have stopped right then and there and said, you know what, maybe this isn't for us. We don't know what we're doing. But that actually gave us the fuel to get out there and go do it. That energy we were getting from other people that were telling us we couldn't do it, the doubt, every time we were told no, it would just make us work harder and harder and harder. So we started the company out of my apartment. I used to live right down in Battery Park. So we started the company out of my apartment. It was me, Jay, Jay's younger brother, and this one other guy. Jay's younger brother and this one other guy never even went to college. So it was the 4 of us with no money trying to start a media website. And we figured out how to get up a WordPress site and just started writing content. None of us, English was my second language, so none of us knew how to edit or anything. None of us had a journalism background either. So we had no idea what the hell we were doing. But we knew we could create something here, and we can create a voice here for a demographic that wasn't really getting a voice and wasn't really getting content the way the content of the future was going to be. Like I said, this is way before BuzzFeed and all this stuff was happening. It was funny because Elite Daily actually started around the same time BuzzFeed started, Upworthy, all those other sites that you see on the web right now. So we started out of my apartment with no money, and to become a successful media company, you have to have readers. And for us, the only way to get readers was to get readers from Facebook. So we started messaging all of our friends on our friends list to go to the site and also share it on their walls. And that's really how it started. Every day we would message 70 people, and if those 70 people shared it, and another 100 people would see it from that, that's how we would grow. Our first day of being live, we had 862 visitors to the site, and we were ecstatic. We're like, 862 people. This is a lot. This is more than Occupy Wall Street. This could be a big deal here. And actually the funny part is the original concept for the site wasn't even Elite Daily. The original concept for the site was actually called Elite Wall Street, and it was going to be a men's online magazine. So we quickly changed our names because of Occupy Wall Street to Elite Daily, and that was basically the origin of the story. So we started out in my apartment. not much capital. We were paying the guys that worked for us about $200 a week. Anytime we had over 5,000 to 10,000 users a day, we would order the guys some pizza, just to keep morale up. Winter break shortly, and this was my senior year at Pace. I was taking 21 credits because I failed a few classes during my freshman year, so I had to make them up to graduate. So I was taking 21 credits, put everything in my night classes, so I did 6 to 9 every single night, and online classes on top of that. And during the day, we worked out of my apartment. So during the fall semester, we worked through, and then winter break came around. So we had a few guys that were still in college that were going to colleges out of the state. So during winter break, they would come over and start helping us out also. But again, none of these guys knew anything about media or anything like that. So after winter break, we found this little incubator. I don't even know if it still exists now, but it was a little incubator, and they basically said, hey, we'll give you guys $30,000, and we'll give you accounting and legal services if you guys want to take office space here. We said, yeah, sure. I mean, nobody else is giving us $30,000. We'll take it. So we took that, and then we had a family friend, actually one of our buddies, that gave us $25,000. So it was about $55,000 all in to really take the business from what we were doing in our apartment into this kind of incubator community office where we got a desk that fit 4 people, but we had 10 people on it with broken laptops, and everybody just working together to really try to figure out what that we're doing here. Month by month we would grow, little by little. Everything was a challenge. There was nothing that came easy. There would be a month where we had 500,000 uniques, and we're like, all right, well, we're seeing some good growth, and then the next month we would go back down to 350. In media, you're only as good as what your last month's traffic was. So at that point, at 500,000 people, we said, we could actually have something here. We started refining our strategy. We started trying to understand the users a little bit better. Everything we had to do, we had to teach ourselves. Literally everything. We did not have the money to hire experienced people here. We did not have the money to hire experienced writers. All our writers were interns or contributors that we would send like $20 a week to. We really had to hustle, and for us, when we started this company, we knew that we weren't going to be the guys that were supposed to be there. We weren't going to be the guys that everybody wanted to be there, but we knew we could outwork everybody, and that's exactly what we did at that point. And this was right after I finished Pace, so this was about the summer of 2012. So that summer, we worked day and night, and then we continued that moving forward. Day and night we worked. We did not stop working. We did not go out. We did not go out to dinner. We just stayed in there and worked. We would work until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We would get home, eat, and then some people would come. So this was when we were working at the community office. So some people would come over after we were done at the office, after we all had dinner, and work out of the apartment again at night. And we did that every single day. There was no time off ever. We did not even allow anybody to take vacations back then. So as time started progressing, we started seeing some more and more traction here and there. I remember we hit about 8 million uniques. And at that point, some people in the industry were like, all right, these guys actually have something here. I mean, to get 8 million readers was no easy task. So we get 8 million readers. We do some press. We get some press in TechCrunch. We get some press in a few other places. Here's these young guys with a media company. And at that point, we get clobbered. Everybody in the industry criticizes us. Everybody calls us crazy publicly in articles. And I'm talking about multiple articles, too. Literally trying to destroy our business, trying to attack us personally. You name it, they called us it. And at that point, as you can imagine, morale is pretty low. A lot of employees are sitting there like, what the hell is going to happen with this place if the whole industry is just basically calling them a joke right now. At this point, we probably had about 20 employees. Most of them didn't finish college, and the ones that did finish college were 1 month out of college, and we were paying maybe $500, $600 too, because we were just making a little bit of revenue. We got criticized pretty hard, and at that point, we could have just shut it down and said, you know what, maybe we'll never make it in this industry. But we didn't. We literally just did not stop working. We printed out every single article. We highlighted every single criticism, and we just made ourselves better. And in 1 month, everything that they called us out for, we fixed. And at that point, we started seeing even bigger growth, even faster growth. We went from 8 million unique readers to 40 million unique readers in a matter of 4 months with a team of about 22 people. And we started the company with $60,000, and we would make revenue, and every month we would take that revenue and put it back into the company. Me and Jay did not take any salary. Every money, all the revenue we were generating was going back into hiring employees and being able to spread the site more and more and more. So we went from 8 million people to 40 million people. And that's when the people with suits started calling us, asking us how much money we need to grow this even more. That's when people started being much nicer to us. It's quite funny when you kind of shift from nobody wanting to talk to you to everybody wanting to talk to you. So at that point, everybody wants to talk to us. We go out there. We raise about $2.1 million to expand the company and expand everything else we're doing. But throughout all of this, we had some partners that we got involved with early on. So we had to deal with a lot of drama internally to actually make that happen. A lot of lawyers flying around, a lot of big legal bills flying around. One day you wake up and you don't know where the company's going to go. There was some points when I remember we got an office, and the office was, we had to put down a security deposit for $100,000. We signed the lease. We had probably $12,000 in our business bank account. There was times where we would have payroll, and we probably had a quarter of that money ready to go by that Friday. We had to really hustle and really be scrappy and really find everything we can possibly find to put together and make this happen. And over the course of the last 5 years, we worked every single day and night. So we go raise some money. At that point, we get even bigger. At that point, we get even more publicity. At that point, we're the new age media company that everybody's saying we have some secret sauce and we figured it out. But a few months ago, they were criticizing us. About 5 months after we raised that capital, we get a phone call. And it was funny because we were actually raising another round, so we were going to raise about $10 million to take it even further. And we get a phone call from the UK basically saying, hey, we're quite interested in your company. And funny enough, I actually was on a panel a few months prior in Munich talking about Elite Daily, and in the audience was actually the chairman of the UK company. So when we got the call, he was like, yeah, I saw the company, I saw you talk about it in Munich. I've been interested since. I've heard you guys are raising around. We might as well buy you guys now and figure out some sort of a deal. So going through that deal was not easy. Going through any M&A transaction, they don't teach you this stuff in school. They should, but they don't. There's a lot of stuff you got to deal with, both internally, externally. You got to manage employees. You got to pray that nobody finds out because God forbid it leaks out there. There's a lot that goes into it. And like I said, we had a lot of internal problems with some partners. So that made it even worse. It was not an easy road, I'll tell you. It was not something that we were just able to get up and do. It was something that we had a lot of breaking points. We had a lot of points that basically said, hey, here's a way out. You can walk away now, or you can keep going on this miserable path and hoping one day you reach that point. And that was our story. We just never stopped. We never stopped. And right now, there's a lot of people that are obviously interested in starting companies. I mean, we're talking about a generation that is one of the most entrepreneurial generations. But there's a lot of stuff you'll see in the media and the news that's very lifestyle-y about it. But I promise you, it's not pretty. You don't get to throw a frisbee around all day and joke around with your friends. You have to grind. And you have to put all your time and all your effort into this thing. And you really have to sacrifice everything else that's out there. And just recently, it's been about 14 months since the acquisition. And just recently, I stepped down. It was almost about 5 years that I've been there, so I was kind of ready for the next step. And it was a roller coaster ride, 5 years. It was not easy. It was not easy. So that's our story. I would love to take some questions.